here with, welcome to Casual Conversations. I'm Janita Branch, and we're here with Miss Brittany Gonzalez of Modern Mom on the Move organization. First of all, thank you so much for just taking time out of your day, out of your week to join me to have this conversation so that we could learn more about Modern Mom on the Move and just kind of hear what you all are doing and how people can be a part of your organization and be a part of just like what you're doing. So thank you so much again for joining. Um, let's
Oh,
start by
absolutely.
just
Thank you for having me.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Oh, no, I said absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, no problem. Turn my volume up real quick. All right. So tell us a little bit about Modern Mom on the Move.
Okay. So, Modern Mom on the Move is what we like to call, it's a movement, honestly. And so what it is it's an organization where we connect mothers to resources to help with the control chaos that we call motherhood. So, as you know, as a mother, you're always constantly pouring to your children, your family, etc., and giving of yourself. And a lot of times you don't have the time to sit back and really do the research or do the work that it takes to, understand and know about all the resources that are available and, created to help you, except for the ones that, of course, that are really marketed really heavy. So that's what we do. And we do that through the curation of events that are for specifically for mothers, but also for events for children as well. So it's just helping to build a network of not only other mothers that you can connect with, but also a network of resources, again, to help you manage through this control chaos called motherhood.
Okay. Yes, it's very chaotic.
Oh, man, let me tell
Very
you about
chaotic.
my
Yes. So when I was like, whenever I look at the website, the one thing that kind of I think resonates with me and kind of sticks out is like it's community. I believe a lot in community, and especially I think as a mom, like you really need community. I mean, how is that something that you all really try to, to emphasize within the organization? How are you guys emphasizing that in what you all do?
Absolutely. I think that's something that I actually unintentionally brought into the organization when I started it. And then once I realized that it was such a community, now that's one of the parts I would guess I keep and hold the most sacred for the group, because we really are a community. We really are a village. They say it takes a village, and we really are a village. And honestly, it's come to the point that we're a village not only for our children, but
Mm.
also just for each other in regards to, our businesses, our other endeavors outside of business. Some of us have, still have 9 to 5 jobs. So we have just come together to help each other and in
Yeah.
so many capacities, to be honest. So when I started the organization, I actually started it as a blog because my children are 10 years apart. So I started it again, kind of just looking, honestly, I started as an outlet for myself, quite
Okay.
frankly. So my son is 10 years and 10 days older than my daughter. And so, of course, by the time she came along, we were like, oh, snap. Like, we were excited because we
Yeah.
always wanted a girl, but we were also kind of nervous because so much had changed in that time. So
Right.
that part in itself was crazy. So I started the blog just as a way to vent and kind of talk about what I was going through, and how
Mhm.
things are so different, and just navigating it all. And then from there, people started following the blog, were looking forward to my posts, so on and so forth. In the midst of having the blog, some tragedy hit my family, and I kind of stopped for a while. But prior to stopping, I had gone to an event where a speaker said, if you want to do something in life, you have to have other people hold you accountable, especially if it's a large goal. A lot of times as humans, we
Mhm.
won't hold ourselves accountable. So she said, write down a goal, write it on social media. And she said, and put a date to it, and watch, people will hold you accountable to it. So in my old job, I attended and planned several events, like over 100 events per year. And
Okay.
so I was at the event, all excited. And I said, well, you know what? I plan all these events for this company. Why don't I ever do it for my own? I said I should just do, one event, one conference for Modern Mom on the Move.
Yeah.
Long story short, had the conference, and when it was over, everyone was saying, "Oh my gosh, this was fantastic!" Same time next year, and I was like, "That's not what I
Right.
said." That's not what I said.
You're
But
right.
again, back to that, that community aspect.
Yeah.
When the I guess you would say trauma hit the family, I kind of stopped blogging and everything. I just kind of went into a shell and just, did the bare minimum, whatever was necessary to keep going and, keep kids in the household alive.
Yeah.
And someone reached out and said, well, you said on Facebook you were doing a conference. I was looking forward to it. When is it? And I was like, oh, I'm not doing it anymore. And they were like, why? And I was like, well, first off, the date passed. So, and they were like, well, you can do it later. And I was like, or not. And they were like, you should do it. You should do it. We see all the things that you're doing in your job. Like, we were looking forward to the event. And so, like I said, I ended up doing the event. And from there, it just grew. So it went from a blog to an annual conference to, oh, well, this is so good, you should have more events, to every other month I was doing something. Prior to COVID, I was doing something every other month, either specifically for kids or specifically for mothers. So
awesome. I mean, but I'm even with COVID, I've seen you on social media. I've seen you on Instagram. You're keeping the ball rolling. I was like, man, because you all tell me about this game, the game night. Like, you've done a few things. Like, talk about some of the things that you guys have done even in the midst of COVID.
Yeah. So because we have become such a community and such a network, and again, I'm really always reaching out to, if I see anybody who's like a new mompreneur, or even not even a new one, if you're new to me, I like to reach out and figure out how I can incorporate you into one of my events or just support you. One thing I have been doing pretty much ever since I started being active on Instagram is Talent Tuesday. So right now it's on hold because I'm in 100% conference mode, but every Tuesday on Instagram, I will just highlight a mom, and she doesn't even have to be a mompreneur. It can be somebody that somebody recommended to me. Actually, I've actually highlighted 2 women so far who are not mothers, but they provide resources that are good for mothers. And so sometimes I'll let them know. Most of the times I try not to, kind of try to make it a surprise. So I'll just go steal some pictures off their profile, read up on them, post it, and that's how we connect.
Yeah.
And so, long story short, by doing that, I was really building the network even outside of COVID, prior to COVID, because this actually was the year that I wanted to ramp up and do more vending events. Okay. So the first virtual event I did this year was actually on the same day that my conference normally will take place, the Modern Mom on the Move conference. And what I did was I did a virtual mixology class, because I said, well, if we can't all be together, and I know we're all kind of bummed having to be in the house, can't go out, can't do anything, with this virtual learning, we kind of, we just all need to kind of let our hair down. Yeah. So I did a virtual event, and what I did was I essentially did an RFP. I reached out to like 4 or 5 mixologists that I found on Instagram and sent them like a request for quote. Okay, well, these are things I'm looking for. Fill out these answers, and I'm doing this event. I'll pick somebody. The lady I ended up picking, her name is Mimi Evans, or Mia Evans. She goes by both, and we just instantly connected. Like, we just instantly clicked. And so she was like, "I love this idea. Let's do this. Let's do this." Da da da. And so we ended up doing a virtual mixology event, which was really nice because you could either pay, and again, because it was in place of the conference, I didn't really charge anybody anything for the most part. You could either pay to $5 just to participate in the event, and that was literally just to go towards Mimi to pay her fees, and then and I paid the rest out of pocket. And then the other fee was if you wanted me to actually deliver the alcohol to you. So she gave us a list of everything we needed, well, all the ingredients actually, not just alcohol, that we needed to make the 2 drinks. And what I offered a service was that I would deliver it to people. So we had I think we got up to about 20 ladies on the phone at night. But we had a great time. We really did, especially for it to be my first virtual event. I was really nervous, but we had a good time. I think the event was supposed to be over at, let's say, 10. I think we stayed on Zoom till midnight. We just had a good time, laughing, joking, and connecting. And from there, me and Mimi just stayed in touch. We did some other, I guess you would say, collaborations since then. And, just, again, really encouraging each other, not only in our business, but, through parenthood and just, and then from there, sometimes I go on some of my friends' pages. I'm like, they're doing something with Mimi, that's crazy. So, and, that's how it works. Just, you find that, you're connecting people, and they keep the connections and I guess you would say, the community going even outside of me. And honestly, that's something that, again, that's why I said I do hold that near and dear to my heart, because I feel like even if for whatever reason, Modern Mom on the Move is not successful. The fact that I've been able to make so many connections between so many amazing people, to me, that, that's enough for me, honestly. Like,
Yeah. I love that. Because I think a girlfriend and I, we were talking kind of like at the beginning of COVID, you miss out on that girl time, like being able to like get away from the kids, the husband, just to, like you said, let your hair down. And so we didn't do all that you at the level that you were operating at, but we did like a wine tasting, a group of us. But just
okay.
like you said, it was supposed to be like maybe 2 hours. But I mean, before we looked up, it was like, y'all, I got to get up in the morning. I got to go,
Yeah.
But
And actually, go
it
ahead,
felt
sorry.
like we were all in the room together. You know what I mean? Like it was a wonderful time. And I never thought that doing something like that virtually would be so much fun, because we haven't had to do it. But I think that
Correct, correct.
we're learning that we can still be connected virtually and have a good time, just like we did, before COVID. So I think that's awesome.
No, absolutely. Like I said, it was some people on the phone who are, pure introverts. I know that for a fact. Even when they come to my events,
Yeah.
they kind of stay in their area. They support, but they stay to themselves. And they were just so outgoing on the phone. I mean, we just had a good time. And like you said, I think a lot of us didn't know how much we needed it, quite frankly,
Mm-hmm.
because we looked up and we're like, what time is it? I mean, we're just talking, we're laughing, we're joking. By this time, the kids are creeping down into the rooms, trying to
Right.
see what's going on. Like, where is mommy having this much fun? It's like, look, now you can stay or you can go, but we're not gonna stop this. So,
Right. Right.
and actually from there, that's where the game night came from. So
Okay.
Mimi has her own organization for moms called Bad Moms Entertainment. And
Um,
so in the conversation, we kept talking about, bad moms. She said, oh, my bad moms group would have loved this X, Y, and Z. And so one day we were on the phone talking. I said, we should do a bad moms versus modern mom on the move. And she said, oh, that would be so much fun. So me and her, even, like, we're both so competitive. So even in the advertisements, we're going back and forth and we're just laughing and having a good time. But behind the scenes, people don't know, as we were planning the games, we were like, well, no, we can't play that because you guys will have an advantage because of this, or you can't do this. And so
okay.
once we got on the actual, I guess you would say the Zoom call to do it, again, we just had a great time, to the point that actually some of the moms from Bad Moms and some of the moms from Modern Mom ended up connecting and, are now staying in touch. So yeah, I know I stayed on the phone with one of the moms from Bad Moms Entertainment. Me and her were on the phone talking about Jada Pickett and the entanglement. And we, again,
Okay.
we just had a good time, but it
Yeah.
was fun because, again, it was one of those things, especially as adults, even prior to COVID, I will say, you didn't really get a chance to, I would say, like, go out and actually play, because we were playing like actual games, like Name That Tune and
Okay.
things like that. So it were, Pictionary with the emoji Pictionary. So it
Oh,
was challenging, but it was just fun. Like, it was something that even when we were done, they were like, we were going back and forth. Well, technically, you guys didn't get this point. You didn't get that point. And we were like, look,
right.
Modern Mom, we got it. Look, you're gonna give us our first
Yeah.
one. You want to do a part two? We can do a part two. We
Yeah.
won this one.
I
We
love
fought to the
it.
end. So it was
Yeah.
great. It really was.
Yeah, and I think there's still. My hope is that even after COVID, that the communities that we've been able to build in the midst of it, that it continues. That we still will use the virtual aspects of things to still stay connected. That's my hope, because I think that it does keep us connected, even when we can't be like in person. So
I will
awesome.
say, from my professional experience, so now I work for a global organization,
Mhm.
and I don't think it's going away anytime soon. And to your point, I think people have seen the benefit that it does just open up your, I guess you would say, your availability now.
Yeah.
Because whereas initially my events were, of course, not strictly, but they were for the DMV because that's where we are. And I've had, family members who have, been following us for forever, like, oh, that looks like so much fun, actually joining in and, participating and actually becoming an active part of the network. So
Yeah.
I just don't think it's going away, because people see the benefit. You figure, like an organization that was able to have a regional event, and you send one
Hmm.
or two representatives to that event. Now you can have your whole team on there
That's
for, a quarter of the price, because you're not paying for travel.
right.
That's a benefit, at the end of the day. And for me, it's the same thing with Modern Mom on the Move. it's a benefit. Of course, the online platforms, which I did not know,
Right.
the fee as well. So that was definitely a learning curve for me
Yeah.
when I was doing the conference. But again, it just opens you up to, all new possibilities, quite
Yeah,
frankly. So,
absolutely. And I think that the platforms have even just adapted, like adding, more, like features and things that and possibilities for what you can do for like the like meetings and like you're ready to do the conference. And so I think it's kind of forced them to kind of, to level up as well and to just
correct.
offer more things, which is awesome, for those of us that use it like today. So so yeah. So next weekend, yes, next weekend. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what's happening next weekend. Can you share what's going on?
Absolutely, absolutely. So next weekend is the fourth annual Modern Mom on the Move conference. It's essentially our signature event that we do every year. It's a labor of love for sure, but
Hmm.
it's fantastic. So it usually happens the week right before Mother's Day is when I usually do. I strategically pick the week before Mother's Day because we have mom-owned vendors as well as mom speakers. But with the vendors, it really gives everybody an opportunity just to kind of wind down and support them, but also, buy gifts for other mothers and for yourself. I know a lot of us, we just go crazy,
Yeah.
you know, um, buying stuff for ourselves or, towards the end, if other people come in, they'll buy gifts for us, so on and so forth. And then we usually have a seated lunch. Last year was the first year we actually had a mom bar. And it really is what we call it a one-stop shop. So it's a time where you can come and you can laugh, you can cry, but it's really just a safe space to have a good time, enjoy. Again, really, and that's why I did the mixology. It's really just the opportunity to let your hair down, get some much needed encouragement, but also get a lot of advice that you can use throughout the year. There's some speakers that spoke at my first and second conference that people are still, to this
Mm,
day, people still reference, oh yeah, X, Y, and Z said this, I
wow.
was in touch with her before, but I need to reach back out to her because now I'm at this point in my life, I need her for this. So we try to touch on all different types of topics. This year, we're talking about finance. We're talking about uncovering your true self, finding out what's hindering you to be your authentic self. We're doing some affirmations to be unapologetic. A lot of people some people just have that personality where you are unapologetic and you just are who you are. And
Yeah.
some of us, we do need a little more help with that.
Yeah.
We're more people pleasers myself. And so I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. I'll go back to that though. And then we're also talking about sex, the best of both worlds. So this is the first year we're touching on that. So we have a speaker who's going to be speaking from a holistic point of view, herbs and everything like that. And then also another lady who owns her own toy store. So
Okay.
talking about it from both aspects. So really excited. And our keynote speaker, I'm sorry,
I was going to ask you about her.
our
Yes.
keynote speaker, she is amazing. She is like, when I heard her story, I was really moved by it.
Hmm.
And I said, oh my gosh, I would love for her to speak at the conference. And then once me and her had a conversation, I was like, yeah, hands down, I want her to be the keynote this year. So she's a 2-time breast cancer survivor who's had a double mastectomy, but
Wow.
actually in the process of having the double mastectomy, she actually opened up her first restaurant. So she's
Hmm.
also a restaurateur. She owns 3 restaurants now. So
Yeah.
the brand is called Gangster Vegan, and the new one that she's opening up this fall is called Rawish DC. And so what they are plant-based restaurants that have, again, almost all the food is raw, but there's
Mhm.
salads, there's desserts, fresh pressed juices. And she really went into this business and, this, I guess you would say, journey of entrepreneurship as a result of her health. She
Okay.
wanted to get healthy and she
Yeah.
wanted to, really change her life, but also be a pillar in the community because she realized that not only, was she struggling from cancer, but there were so many people in our communities who are plagued by cancer, so many families that
Yeah.
are, really traumatized by cancer and don't have the, I guess you would say, the fortune to have survived it. So, so
Right.
many of us have lost family members as a result of cancer.
Hmm. Hmm.
And she felt that there was a need in these urban communities to really bring more fresh and plant-based diets. So
Yeah.
it's amazing what she's doing. Her first restaurant is located in Baltimore. Her
Okay.
second one, which she opened, again, she's a trooper. She opened her second restaurant in the midst of COVID.
Oh,
So
wow.
she was actually supposed to open her restaurant in April. right before the conference. So it's going to be a
Okay.
whole rollout with the conference and with her restaurant. Of course,
Yeah.
because of COVID, things got slowed down, but she actually ended up opening it. I believe it was June. So in
Okay.
June of 2020, right in the midst of COVID before, in Maryland at that time, we still were in phase one where we couldn't
Hmm.
really even eat at restaurants. You could only go in and take out. But she
Okay.
was able to, push forward, push through, and open her restaurant. So again, her story is just,
I,
it's amazing to
yeah, I
say the
can't
least.
wait to hear. I was
And
I was
I
looking. I was looking at her website. I was like, I was checking out the food. It
yeah,
looks it looks great. And I think for
I,
those, like for me, I'm eating better. Like I'm eating healthier now, but I still need more education on it. And I don't always know like what to put with certain things. And so kind of looking at her dishes and just kind of looking at what she's doing, I'm like, okay, it kind of gives me ideas. I was really looking to see if she could mail me like ship. I don't know, but it may be too soon. I'm always like, do they ship? But maybe it's down. Yeah, yeah. So it looks great. So I was definitely gonna share it with some people that I know that are definitely in the area because it looks delicious. It looks really
I've
good.
been there
So
a couple of times. It's
yeah.
funny because when I reached out to her, I did not know that she was the owner of the one in Baltimore. So I went. I'm not a I mean, I'm not a vegan. I'm a vegetarian, but I do like to eat a lot of vegan meals. Just because when I first started this journey, I
Mhm.
tried to do vegan, and so from there, I did, find a couple things that I like. Like you said,
Okay.
it's hard to know what to eat, especially
Yeah.
when you've eaten, meat all your life. And I always tell
Yeah.
people I was probably the worst. Most people, if you knew me growing up, you would never believe that I'm a vegetarian now because I remember there was
Wow.
literally a weekend where I ate all weekend, Friday to Sunday. That's all I
Yeah,
ate.
that's my struggle. I'm just like, well, I don't know.
With bacon.
Yeah, I
And
love it.
so I mean, I've been vegetarian now for 4 years. I've
Okay.
actually just gotten to the point now where I don't like salivate over the smell of bacon. Like I just hit that point this year where I was like,
Okay.
okay, I could actually do without the smell. Because for a while
Okay.
I was like, oh, they're cooking bacon. I just eat
Hmm.
it, even though I can't eat it. But I say that to say, and again, in that process, you learn a lot. You learn what you don't like, what you do like, certain things that you didn't like before. You find that, oh, okay, when cooked this way, I actually enjoy it. Like I
Mm.
never ate mushrooms prior to this, but now when I can
Oh,
get my hand on mushroom because it really is a replacement for beef as far as
okay.
taste and recipes. So when
Hmm.
I can get myself on, get some mushrooms in a dish, I'm like, yay! So
Nice.
it's just little things like that. And then even for me, still there's some of the things that they encourage. Okay, I don't want to say they're staples, but I guess I would just say they encourage you to eat. If you're doing a plant-based or vegetarian diet that I still don't eat and I'm not interested in, I've tried it different ways and I just don't like it. Like peanuts, I can't stand peanuts. I don't like
Mm.
nuts. I don't
Okay.
like nuts of any kind. I don't like peanut butter of any kind. And of course, that's a big protein in
Yeah.
a vegetarian diet. So I do like avocado and beans, certain beans.
Mhm.
I still don't like a lot of beans either. Same
Okay.
thing, like I say, once you eat bananas, I don't do any of that. So
Okay.
it's really just a learning curve. But
Okay.
to go back to the conference, I was just going to say that I failed to mention, I do apologize. You guys got to bear with me. I've been up since 4 a.m. today. So
Yes. All
I,
great. Yeah.
yeah, I'm on my last leg to say the least. But each year the conference actually has a theme. So I come up with the theme usually in like December or January, and then I just focus everything around that whole year. And so this year's theme is unapologetic. Last year's theme was live now. And I always say I'm so glad that we lived now last year, that we just, we
Right.
did all we wanted to do, and no hold bars, because here
Mhm.
we are in COVID. And
Right.
same thing, I feel like I went into this one. This one was the hardest for me as far as like manifesting, because
Mm.
I'm kind of on the opposite end of unapologetic, quite frankly.
Okay. Okay.
And but I found that throughout COVID, and even honestly before COVID, there was just a lot going on this year where I felt like I had to be pushed into that. So I was glad that I did pick that theme. I feel like all the speakers this year really embodied that. I really think this might be the best lineup we've had yet. Our MC is actually, her name is Star Babatone, and she is a trained speaker from Les Brown. She's spoken on
Oh, wow.
stages with Susie Orsman and
Mhm.
Michelle Obama. So when I tell you we have a lineup this year that is quite frankly unmatched. I mean, we've had some dynamic speakers,
Yeah.
quite frankly, that people are still like, can they come back? I'm like, I can't use the same speakers every year. And they're like, no, but she needs to come back. I want to hear her again. I'm like, they have their own platforms, you know. You can still get them outside of the conference. But yeah,
Yeah.
this year I just think all around,
Okay.
everybody is A1 top notch for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Well, that's how it should be though. Like every year you just kind of like just it gets better and better, and I think it speaks to I think the event that you put together, the people that you bring in, especially if they're wanting you to bring back some people from, the second and third year. Like it just speaks to the quality of the people that you bring in, what they're talking about, that it's relevant.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. And that's one of the things I try to make sure we switch up the topics, but also, like you said, I want to make sure it's relevant because
mhm.
one of the misconceptions that people have about Modern Mom on the Move is that it's just for either moms with young kids or it's just for young moms. And that's not what it is at all. It
Okay.
really is for moms across the board. Anybody who, I always tell people, you can be a fur mom if you want, and we will bring you into our network with open arms. It's really about anyone who is pouring in and nurturing someone else. So I
Okay.
have, 2 or 3 ladies who come every year. They don't have any kids, they're aunties, godmoms, and they get so much out of it. And, they have, of course, an appreciation for motherhood, but again, they are
Mhm.
nurturing in that capacity. And,
Yeah.
they enjoy it. It really is it's a women's conference, quite frankly. But again,
Okay.
it's just geared towards mothers because that's why I started it in the vein of which I started it from. So
That
but
makes
yeah, that's one of the common misconceptions. Some people are like, "Oh, I'm too old." I'm like, "No, you're not. My mom comes to everything, and so do some of
Yeah.
my aunts, and we have other people that come, and they're equally affected, just like some of the people who haven't, who are actually pregnant. We've had a couple women show up who are, still pregnant with their first child. So
Okay.
it really just is about, empowering you to really follow your dreams because what you find a lot of times with motherhood or just when you are nurturing someone else is that you give so much of yourself that there's
Mhm.
nothing left for you. And
Mhm.
that's why this conference is so important because it helps to bring you back to that point once a year. If not any other day a year, you come back to that this day a year and say, okay, you're right, I need to do something for me. I've seen people
Yeah.
start their businesses after the conference. I've seen people, you know do a whole revamp of their house. It just really motivates them to get back to whatever is their passion, whatever ignites them.
Right. Right. And I love the name. Like as you're talking, like the name unapologetic, it just makes sense. Like because I feel like going to being a part of the conference is a form of self-care, right? Like this is how we
Mhm.
are investing, the women that attend, that they are investing in themselves, and we should be unapologetic about taking care of ourselves, about loving ourselves, about investing in ourselves. Like there is a level of unapologetic that we have to have. And I'm with you. It is that is an area that has been of struggle, and I like being a mom. You want to give your best to your kids and to your, you
Mhm.
have a spouse to your spouse, and sometimes, often we do put ourselves on the back burner, and we forget about ourselves, and so I think that we have to also make ourselves a priority and be unapologetic about it. So I just love the name. Like I think it's great. I think what you're doing is phenomenal. Um, how can people, if they're interested in attending the conference, how can they go about getting a ticket and being a part of this next Saturday?
1 second before I tell them that, I
Okay.
do want to tell them that you are one of our speakers, so we're so honored to have you. We're so excited.
Yeah.
um Janita will actually be doing the presentation right after the keynote about being your authentic self. It's actually a workshop. So yeah, so
For
I'm
sure.
really, really
No.
excited about your
Yeah.
workshop.
Yes. I'm
We're really,
excited.
really excited about your workshop. I think we always have a component similar to what you're doing, but when I read what you sent and saw your video, I was like, again, it's a step up. It's definitely a step up. So I know they're going to be blown away by it. And again, you probably will have, moms contacting you like crazy as well. Like, okay, now Janita, we need you again.
Well, I'm
Yes,
excited. I really am. I'm excited to really.
we're
I've been
so
looking
excited
at the
to have you.
speakers when you posted the flyer of the other speakers. I was like, oh man. And I was looking at there, and I was like, I'm gonna be on this thing all day. So I already told my husband, don't look for me. I'm gone. So
I'm not
I
there.
yeah, because the lineup is phenomenal, and like you said, it's touching on so many different aspects of life, that can be applied, whether it's personal, professional, whatever it is in your family. So I think there's something for everybody. Like there isn't, it's not like geared towards just one type of person or
No,
one
not at all.
life. It's for, there's something for everybody. And I think it's more than just one thing, but there's at least one thing, one session that is meant for, it meant for somebody. You're going to get something
Correct.
from it. Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
excited. I'm glad. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. I'm excited. So I'm honored
No,
to be.
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I intentionally do. I try to make sure that, again, it's not geared towards, okay, people who are like this, people who are like that, just because in my everyday walk, everybody around me is different. Like, they say the
Yeah.
people you hang around, that you can tell your circle, like you can't tell my circle by that.
Mm-hmm.
We are
Yeah.
all so different. And but that's what makes us who we are. And that's,
Right.
again, we stay elevated because of it, encouraged because of it. So absolutely. So the way you can register for the conference or just get some more information about it, if you're not quite ready to register yet, but you want to get some information and see all these fantastic speakers that Janita is talking about, you can go to unapologetic MMOTM live at modernmomonthemove.com. That's a lot. So I'm going to give you another easier way to get there. Because it is a lot. What happened was because we're going to be streaming on 3 different platforms. So we'll be streaming
Mm-hmm.
on StreamYard. We'll be streaming directly from that website I just mentioned, and we also will be streaming on YouTube. Because of that, my website manager, she actually built out a whole separate website just for the conference, which is super exciting because, again, that's where all the information about the speakers, the vendors, the sponsors, that's
Okay.
where all that information lives and will continue to live even after the event. So
Okay.
super excited about that, just to have a place to really showcase these amazing women, quite frankly. I don't know how any other way to say it, but an easier way I would say to find out, well, register for the conference is if you're on Facebook. So let's stay with this profile. If you're on Facebook, you just go to Modern Mom on the Move. So just space between each word, Modern Mom on the Move. I actually have a Facebook page and the event is linked there.
Okay. I'm actually going to try to multitask. Let's see. There it is. I have the page saved. I'm gonna put the link in the comments
Okay.
on the Facebook video, and I put your website.
Oh,
So
thank you. I appreciate that.
that way people can just click on it and they can find it.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, good. Okay. So
And
you
that's just I'm sorry, just a quick look. I just want to say that's just another wonderful thing about the network. The lady that I'm using who manages my website now, but who also is managing this whole virtual component of the event, she posted, I was following her. She attended an event before I did a kids event. I did a pajama party for kids where I had all kid vendors. So much fun.
okay?
And it was emoji themed. And so she attended the event with her kids. And from there, she started following me. I started following her. And she had posted something saying, hey, I'm doing website designs. If you're interested, let me know. Just a broad post. I reached out to her because I had already created my own website. We worked together for her to enhance the website and make it, more up to date, where you can
Yeah.
buy things directly from the website. Again, it links to all my virtual events, so on and so forth. And so when it came to doing the conference, again, I don't know, this is a new a new
Right.
avenue for me. I was like, I guess I could do it on Zoom. And we were talking, and she's like, no, we're gonna have to do something different. And so I
Mm.
said, well, would you be willing to be my virtual conference manager? And she was like, let me think about what that entails. She came back, told me what it would entail. And yeah, when I tell you she's been interacting and interfacing with the speakers, the sponsors, the vendors, she built out a whole new website. She created a Facebook page for Modern Mom on the Move. It's just like she's
Awesome.
elevating everything, and I'm so excited about it. So
Yeah, that's what community is. I mean, like they I always say like so like today I did a little, I think you saw, I did like something on Instagram live, like,
yeah,
hey, don't forget. And the first 2 people that came on were some people that I consider, they're like in my inner circle. And
okay,
I wanted to, I said hi or whatever, but I've been thinking about this throughout the day, just this whole idea of community and the people that I consider to be like my my close friends. But just the importance of community in general, that they push you towards your purpose, right? They push you toward, they hold you accountable. They are the ones that will like, that will kind of force you outside your comfort zone,
exactly.
and elevate you. But they also, I like that they will call me to the carpet and be like, mm-mm, no, like you wrong. You know, they'll call you out in a way, but in the loving way.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
you know, but they don't hold it against you either. They're like, you just,
Mm.
they understand that we're all in process, we're all growing, and they still love you just the same. It's all done in love. And I think that that's the beauty. Like when I think about like what you're doing, like this is somebody that you met, you know, at one of, you know, an event that you had, who is now becoming a part of your circle. And it's just, you just never know who you're going to meet, you
You
know.
don't.
So, you know, I
And
think,
to your point, like you said, they will call you out. The lady who was my MC last year was actually, she was the keynote speaker the first year I had the conference. So
okay.
me and her worked together. I always was just really enamored by just how she is. She is the epitome of unapologetic. You know, she walks in, she commands a room. So when I
Mhm.
decided to have the conference, I said, you know, if you could speak for me, it would be excellent, X, Y, and Z. And so last year, when I was planning the conference and I was advertising it, she called me one night and she said, "Hey, Brittany, I need you to do something." And I said, "What's that?" She said, "I need you to update your agenda." I said, "Okay, what's wrong? What I missed?" And she said, "You need an MC." And I said, "Well,
Mm.
I always MC it." And she said, "You need an MC, and I'm going to be the MC for you." And I said,
Mhm.
"Well, why can't I do it? I think I could. I don't like speaking, but you know, I think I can do it." She said, "You're growing. The event is growing. I'm looking at all the components you have." And she said, "I want you to host the event. I want you to, you know, be who you are and host the event. I want to be the MC. I'm going to manage the speakers for you. I'm going to," and I was like,
That's awesome.
and
Yeah.
when I tell
Yeah.
you, she just, again, she again called me to the carpet. Like, "Look, sis,
Mhm.
you're doing a great job, but I want to help you be even better with it."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and it was like, looking back, that event last year would have been a disaster had I, because it was just so much going on.
So
It
much,
would have
yeah.
been a disaster if she would not have stepped in, you know, looked at an agenda and said, "Look, this is a missing component. I need to be your MC."
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so, and prime example this year, because I knew I was, again, stepping it up even more. That was one of the first things I looked for. I said, "You know what?" She taught me that I need an MC to set the tone, but also to keep things going, because I can't do both. You know, I'm
Mhm.
only one person.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, your people help you carry the weight. They make you, elevate you. They call you higher. I think that's a sign of people you need to keep close. People that are trying to not do that, maybe you should just evaluate. Just,
Yeah, absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
You know, in
absolutely.
this process, there have been some people who, you know, I did have to reevaluate and,
Yeah,
you know, distance myself from, because like you said, it comes a point where there's constructive criticism and then there's people who just want to see you fail. And
yeah, absolutely.
I finally came to the point that I can recognize the difference.
And you're unapologetic about it, right? Yeah. You have to be.
Finally.
You're like, this is something you have to do for you, right?
Yeah,
So absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome. Y'all buy tickets. Like I want to
please
see your
do.
face,
Seriously.
like be a part of it. Or even this, I'll say buy, if you would, or bless somebody with a ticket that you
Yeah.
think would benefit, you know, from being a part of the conference and hearing the speakers. I mean, if you can't attend, or maybe, you know, or if you don't want to, but you know somebody, buy the ticket and bless them and gift it to them. I think that's a great way to pour into somebody's life, and to help them to elevate, you know, and to just to get some information that'll help them on their own personal journey. So,
And
um,
and to your point, even if you can't stay the whole time, because I get it, we're all in front of computers nonstop, especially now with the kids back in school. So we're behind their
mhm,
computers, our computers. Even if you can't stay the whole time, the beautiful part about it, because again, I have somebody on my team who knows how to do it right. It's being recorded. So with your ticket, you get access to go back and see the sessions that you may have missed or you may have walked out on. And like Jania said, it really is a gift. You're gifting it to somebody. And for the price, I promise you, you're not going to get this level of speakers or
yeah,
this level of knowledge, quite frankly. You're not going to get it, you know, anywhere else. And it really is a gift to yourself or to someone else. Like you
absolutely.
said, buy the tickets, support. These women have been working hard through COVID. Like Janita said, we're doing it all these days. So, you
Yeah,
know, we just
yeah.
appreciate the support. And I know some people right now can't afford to buy the ticket. You know, if you can't afford to buy the ticket, share the post, share it with someone, or again, just
Hmm.
make sure you find a way to be a part of this network, because that's what we really are
Absolutely.
about. We're about uplifting one another. You know, there's people, you you'll hear some of the stories
Yeah.
once you once you get to the conference, that you'll see some of these moms have been, you know, affected through COVID, but they've been able to pivot, and
Mhm.
it's just amazing the things that they've done. So I'm just excited, honestly, myself, to watch the conference. I've had pre-talks with all the speakers, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to know more. I need to hear
Mhm.
more, and I'm the one planning it, but really,
Yeah.
really exciting. Like I said, good stuff. We're having, for those going back to when I said we had the mixology event and the Bad Moms event, we actually, because that was such something everyone keeps talking about, we have a networking component that's a part of the conference where we're doing breakout sessions where you can actually have conversations like me and Janita are having. You can have those conversations and,
Mhm. Awesome.
with another mom, and make a friend, have somebody that you can call and have these conversations with. Because I know my quote unquote circle that I used to talk to prior to COVID, it
Mhm.
has changed a little bit,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. For the good, of course,
No, I
you
was gonna
know?
say for the good, not
Yeah.
not in a bad way at all. It's just, sometimes
Yeah.
there are other people you connect with about other things. You have
Mhm.
more things in common, especially with everything going on. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So, like we've been saying, the links are in the comments on Facebook, and so you can go to the Modern Mom on the Move Facebook page, and there's a event there that you can get more information, get tickets, visit the website. I encourage you to do that because you can just find out more about the organization, like what they're doing, find out more about Brittany and kind of like her story, but just see like what's going on. There's also, you're doing a pop-up event, a vendor pop-up on this Sunday, on the 20th, which is the
the
Sunday.
20th, correct.
So if you're in the DMV area, you actually can shop the vendors like in person. But there's virtual vendors as well. So there's just a lot going on with the conference. It's not just, hey, come join this call and that's it. But
Correct.
there's a lot going on. So like Brittany said, for the price, you're getting an amazing deal for everything that they're offering. So just check it out. Don't take our
Yeah.
word for it. Check it out for yourself.
Exactly. And I
Yeah.
just wanted to say the pop-up, it's really, we're calling it's called the unapologetic pop-up party. But as
Mhm.
Janita was saying, it really is like a mixer. So we'll have the vendors there that you can shop in person, but we have a DJ. She's also doing a karaoke for us. We have a photo
Uh-oh.
booth. We have the food. We have handmade lemonades. And so it's just going to be really a good time. And I have gotten this question, so I just want to go ahead and address it here. It's
Okay.
it, it's out. It's an outdoor event, and so if you have to bring the kids, that's fine as well because it's
Okay.
at a park. Quite frankly,
Oh, okay.
it's at
Okay.
a park. But
Yes.
again, it's going to be a good time. It really is not. This is not the conference. This next the pop up party is just that. It's a pop up. It's a mixer. It's a
Okay.
mixer. We'll have games, and this is going to be a good time. So just come out and have a good time, celebrate with us.
So even if they don't attend the conference, they can still come to the pop-up.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. All
Just be
right.
prepared for me to take your temperature.
Yes, I know, right? Yes, and a mask.
Yep.
Okay, so my last question to you. So one of the things with Purpose for Purpose, and just personally, is I just believe in living an authentic life, right? An authentic life, a purpose life, just being purposed in everything that I do say. What does it mean? Hopefully, it doesn't throw you off. But what does it mean to be authentic and to live a purposed life? What does that mean to you?
For me, honestly, it really ties into this year's theme actually about being unapologetic. I am by nature, I'm an empath. So I do take on a lot from everyone, whether it's intentional or not. And so I'm learning as I get older and, through my network, as I'm teaching others, I'm teaching myself that I have to be intentional about the things that I do and
Mhm.
being intentional about where I put my energy. I have found that one thing that has happened this year is by putting my energy and my time into Modern Mom on the Move and into myself, my organization has grown. Like I've reached 1,000 followers on Instagram. Again, I've been able to connect with mothers, nationally that normally I don't even have interactions with. And it's because I took the time to, again, be purposeful in the things that I'm doing instead of just doing everything for everyone because
Yeah,
they asked, because I said X, Y, and Z. I'm actually, even though it seems like I'm doing a lot, I'm being strategic with what I do. I'm being strategic with my time. So
yeah,
um, setting barriers, and boundaries. That's something I did not do in the past. And I'm learning that it's made all the difference in my life. Just, again, being purposeful in the things that I do, the things that I say. especially now with the kids home all the time. It's like, you got to be careful what you're saying because they're watching everything you're doing and
Mm-hmm.
they're picking up on it. And I noticed it, especially like the first couple of weeks. I'm like, who are these children?
Yeah.
Because I didn't raise either one. I don't know who this one or this one is.
Yeah.
And I realized, well, you know what? A lot of it is they're seeing what you're doing, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
step back and, you know, be intentional with the things you do and be intentional with even the surroundings, you know. We pretty much remodeled our whole house during COVID because we found and we've learned that, again, in the midst of chaos,
Yeah. Yeah.
a clean setting, it's clearing our minds and it's allowed all of us to elevate on all levels. Again, my youngest is 6 and my oldest is 16, both about to be 17 in October. I mean, both about to, you know, have birthdays in October, so they'll be 7
Okay.
and 17. So absolutely, that's what it means to me, Janita. And quite frankly, that's one of the reasons that I was excited when you reached out to me, because I feel like that was one of the components that was missing from the conference. And you really embodied that. Like I told you, that video you sent me, I was like, who is this lady? Literally, I was like, who is this lady? Because again,
Oh.
it was very clear that the words you were saying were not only intentional, but they were genuine. And I
Mm-hmm.
felt like that's what this network needs. So once again, I thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. It is something I'm very passionate about. So that I'm glad that it comes through, because that it is living a purpose life and just being authentic and getting to that place. That's why I think unapologetic it just resonates with me, because that's
Mm-hmm.
where I want to be. And I want other people to be there as well. And I always say I have not got it all I have not figured it all out. I am in process, but I'm speaking from experience. I'm not coming at you like I've done it. I'm like, no, this is just my story. I'm really speaking, this is my story. And so if I tell you to do something, that means that I've done it or I'm doing it. And I can tell you that it's not always easy and it's not always fun. So
Correct.
it takes work. It's going to take
Yep.
some work. Because you didn't get there overnight. So if you didn't
Nope.
get there overnight, you can't turn it around overnight. So
And
um,
sometimes people around you just, you know, they're not comfortable with the change.
yeah,
But you know, in order to grow, you have to get uncomfortable. It's a
absolutely.
known fact.
Yeah. And I think too that as you grow, you just get a new pair of, you start seeing through a new lens, you know,
Correct.
and when it comes to people, like we love the people in our life, like they've helped us to get to, I always use the analogy of flying, and I know we have gone over, but this has been a good conversation. But like when you get on the airplane, you got your people with you and you go into a destination, but there's
Mhm.
always layovers and people get off. Everybody doesn't go the full distance to go, and go to your final destination. And that's really kind of how life is. Like there are people that are going to go one leg, two legs, and there will be people who go the full destination with you, or the full journey, I should say. But everybody's not, and you just have to be thankful for what they were able to bring you and to give you and what you're able to give them, because it's not
Correct.
always them, what they were able to bring to you. It's also
Mhm.
maybe what you were giving to them is done. Like you've done all you can do, and we got to learn to let go. But
Correct.
letting go it's difficult. That has been my season this year, of learning to let go and reprioritize. So
Yep.
yeah, it's definitely a learning. It's something we just have to learn. So
That makes two of
um,
us. And like you said, but you know, when you know you're coming from a genuine place, and
yeah,
like you said, it's a learning. That was a great analogy you made. That was a great analogy.
that's hot, girl. I speak a lot in analogies. You'll see.
I love analogies.
So I'm like,
My
I
kids
just
get
want you
tired
to
of it.
get the point. Yeah. So yeah. Well, thank you. So I don't have anything else. Any other questions? Any last things that you want to share before we get off the call?
I just want to say, make sure you guys continue to tune into Casual Conversations with Janita. Again,
Oh,
this is a great platform. I plan on definitely tuning in the future. This is my first time being a part of it, but I definitely plan on tuning in the future. And then I just want to say, please, please, please come out and join us for the conference.
yes.
I do believe it will change your life. And, you know, if nothing else, follow Modern Mom on the Move. Like Janita said, we're always doing something. So if you can't
Mm-hmm.
make it to the conference, you can attend our weekly mashups with mompreneurs. You can get yourself a monthly offering box. You can be
Oh
housed on
yeah. Okay,
Talent Tuesday.
okay. We'll have to talk about
We got
that in a
so
minute.
much
Yeah.
going on. It's all on
Yeah.
the site. It's a lot going on. Like, so even
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, so yes, definitely just, you know, come follow us, be a part of the
Absolutely.
network, and send
Yeah.
us a shout out.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Brittany. And I'll be talking to you soon. And
Absolutely.
everybody else, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you connect with Brittany on whether it's Facebook, Instagram, both, but check out what they're doing. You don't want to miss it. It's great. It's great, and it'll I think it'll bless you. It'll just fill your cup. It's a great way to fill your cup and refuel and just refresh with a lot of the events and stuff that they're doing. So I keep wanting to say happy Monday because my days are just like, but it is Tuesday. So enjoy the rest, get some rest. And thank you again for joining me, Brittany. I appreciate it. And we will talk again soon.
We absolutely will. Thank you, Janita.
Okay, you're
Have a
welcome.
good one.
All right,
Bye,
you too.
everyone.
Bye.